Good morning, everybody. We are back. It is the right side of canvas. We are live Tuesday, April 17th, 2018. I'm your host, the big man on campus. Here with my co-host, Donnie Rightside. Donnie, we're back. It's Tuesday. How you doing today?
Doing good, man. Not a great night for the city of Philadelphia, Jeff. Watching the Sixers go down and the Phillies go down, ending long streaks of 17 and 6-game winning streaks. Maybe we could pick it up. Got the night off. No Flyers tonight. Actually, we have the Phillies tonight still, but no Sixers. We'll see if they can regroup. But not the greatest night, Jeff, for the city of Philadelphia.
And the whole phrase we're talking about today, Donnie, is if you can't take the heat, get out of the fucking kitchen. All right?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about today. You can't take the heat. Get the hell out of the kitchen. Welcome in everyone out there listening. Hope you enjoy the show. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're supporting everything we do here at SBR. A lot of interesting things going on. A lot of things to talk about. Make sure you're supporting all the stuff on the channel. A lot of good shows. A lot of great information. From golf to soccer to hockey to everything in between. We got you covered here at SBRpicks.com. So make sure you're supporting all of that and hitting the like button for our show. Making sure if you're on Twitter, retweet the show. It's a great way to push it out to people that maybe don't see it on a regular basis. Let's get into the morning headlines here. Donnie, we'll start out with where are we going to go here? Oh, Derek Jeter, not in Miami or not in New York. And I was surprised with this as well. I thought we'd see Derek Jeter in New York. Obviously, people aren't happy with him right now, but you would think that he would go and support his team on the road, his old stomping grounds. But I noticed the only person I saw in a Derek Jeter jersey was Marlins man, who savagely trolled Jeter with a Derek Jeter Marlins jersey. Where was Derek, Donnie? Why didn't he show up here?
Yeah, no, it came out last week or a couple weeks ago when it was clear that, Miami was going to head to the Bronx for a 2-game series. What better way for the returning king to come home, maybe shake some hands, be there to support his team now currently. But then said, it might be a little bit weird. I want to stay away. Jeff, he's now an owner. You got to separate yourself from the player to the owner. And are you coming back with bad will? Did you somehow scam the Yankees? You're a legend in New York. Not only a legend in New York, Jeff, you traded them Stanton for basically, pennies on the dollar. You're a hero returning. Why not just come back, say hello to the press, watch your Marlins get their ass kicked, and then head back to Miami? But the whole facade of Jeter saying, hey, I don't really want to go back. It's going to be kind of weird. You're an owner now. It's your job to go follow the Marlins around and rebuild the team and be on them and answer any questions you have, especially when you're getting your butt kicked nightly out there.
Yeah, no, he seems like the guy that just wants to sit behind, doesn't want to answer any questions. I'm sure we'll never hear from him. Hasn't been a good week in Philly outside of sports too. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Go on, White. Let's.
I think Starbucks. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he mentioned that to me. I didn't hear about that until recently. Those Sixers are looking overrated, Jeff. Exclamation point. Wonder who Jesse Smith is. Some guy we've never seen in here before. First thing he says was the Sixers are overrated. So they're overrated because they lose one game. We'll get into that. Again, if you're going to come in here and say the Sixers are overrated, tell us why. What's up, Steve Marin? Donnie's been hitting the gym. Ours look big. He doesn't even go to the gym, dude. He doesn't even do that.
That is true. I do usually hang out at McDonald's most of it. That's my gym, McDonald's, lifting up quarter pounders. That's my weight.
Yes. Embiid says he's ready, but he's not happy, Donnie. Joel Embiid was not happy after the game last night. And we'll kind of throw this all into one. Actually, you know what? Let's get through Jordan. What's this kid's name? Reed. Donnie, what's this kid's name? Reed?
Yeah, Green Jack. Yeah, Reed won the Masters. The guy's wearing the reason why I brought it up here is it's kind of funny that Patrick Reed has a lot of detractors out there. A very surly individual. I don't know how fan friendly he is, but a little bit of a recluse there on the tour. Not many close friends. Doesn't talk to his parents, but winning the Masters is a big deal, especially in golf. It's probably if you picked one of them that you would want to win if you're an American golfer. Obviously, if you're a European golfer, you probably want to win the British Open first and foremost. But the Masters is the end-all be-all, and the Green Jacket's one of the spoils of winning that. Obviously, outside of making yourself a couple $1 million in a tour exemption, but a lot of these guys wear it everywhere. Sergio wore it everywhere. Everybody who wins it for the first time is going to show up places and celebrate it. Well, no, he's been to the Chick-fil-A, he's been to a couple sporting events, he's wearing it all over town, and some people said, hey, hey, man, it's kind of funny wearing your Letterman's jacket around town. It's a big deal, Jeff. It's like carrying around the Super Bowl trophy for your sport for a couple weeks and really parading and proud of yourself. I don't have any problem with it.
No, I mean, I don't get the problem with it either. I would wear it. I mean, it's, you know, it's like if you anything you do. I mean, I will say this. I mean, if I'm like, it's kind of like the equivalent of wearing like your own jersey, which is kind of lame. But yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's fairly new. Like, if he's still doing it next year, then maybe he needs to move on with life. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely rock it for sure. I don't see any issue with it. Who would have a problem with this? The only people that have a problem with this are the same people that have a problem with me being on the internet. You're jealous because you're not on. That's the only reason you're jealous and mad at me. Justin Reed's or whatever this kid's name's Patrick Reed.
Patrick.
His detractors are the only ones that are annoyed. They're the ones that aren't in that green jacket, so therefore they're jealous and want to have something to say about him. Let's get into the series here. Um, the Sixers, there's a lot of moving parts, Donnie, outside the series and along with it as well. We start out with the game. It's actually the fountain of youth for Dwayne Wade. But where did
Yeah,
this come from?
Jesus.
Dwayne Wade, who, look, many believed, I mean, it was done. I mean, you know, he leaves Cleveland. He leaves and goes back to Miami, kind of as his last hurrah, if you will. Last night he was very good. 28 points off the bench, 11 for 16. Made his 6 of his 8 free throws. Was very good. Plus 16 as well. Plus minus. Dwayne Wade, Donnie, hit the fountain of youth. It's kind of like maybe if you decided to go out and play football, you'd probably put in a similar performance.
Yeah, you better. I mean, I can give you one play out of the fullback position probably at this point before I have to call it a day and be out of breath. But sure, yeah, no. But is it like you're watching the game, Jeff, and he's sticking that 17-foot jumper repeatedly, which again, older guys are going to do it in crafty. The things you didn't anticipate, again, the great passing, the overall stamina, the step back jumpers, the clutch plays that he made. Jeff, to me, the play of the game, and I tweeted out last night, the Sixers were down 2 with about maybe 4 minutes to go or under 4 minutes to go, and they had the ball. I believe it was Saric that caught the ball, was standing on the wing. Wade spikes it out of his hand and ends up with a breakaway dunk to make it a 4-point game. Sixers never recovered from that, but that was a hell of a game from Dwayne Wade. I don't know if you can count on that, Jeff, 2 or 3 times in a series, but last night the Heat needed every bit of that, and Dwayne Wade found a little bit of that magic back there. And again, Gabrielle Union tweets him out telling him to come home and come get this because you had a good game, Father Time.
Nothing wrong with that. Sixers shit the bed. Sixers shit the bed because they're not going to win every game. I mean, what do you people want? I mean, you think they're going to win every game? They didn't play well. They didn't shoot the ball well. Turnovers were an issue. Covington had a terrible game. Redick had a terrible game. No one played well. Ben Simmons sat out for a long period of time again with 4 fouls. He's got to watch. I mean, look, the officiating's not been good in either of these games. Not the reason they lost last night, but I'm just saying on both sides of the basketball, not been good in this series. Officiating. I mean, you have a ton of free throws. Game has no flow to it whatsoever. Experience is a major issue. Um, I don't think it's a major issue. Listen, maybe none of you people know this. Donnie, outside of Dwayne Wade,
Yeah.
does any of those people, do any of those kids have playoff experience?
Yeah, that's
Why
my
don't you bring this
favorite.
in?
Like, Bellinelli's been there, JJ Redick's been there. You have guys on the Sixers that have been to the playoffs, and it's round 1. It's not like it's boy, I'm not used to playing in game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm going to be really nervous. It's game 1 on your home court. How much experience do you need after an 82-game season? It's not really, is it that much of a pressure cooker, Jeff, in games 1 and 2?
No. Big man, you think Philly is Villanova. Stop it. What the hell are you talking? What on earth are you talking about? I will never, Donnie. I would just will never get to the point where some of these people's comments on here. I often wonder what fucking drug they take before they say it. What the hell are you talking about, Claxton? What the hell are you talking about? I've been a huge detractor making the point that that's not Philadelphia, you idiot. I've said that time and time again. What the hell are you talking about?
That's probably the biggest detractor on that whole situation.
Yeah, I've made that clear multiple times that I hate Villanova. That I don't think they're in Philadelphia. They're not. I've said that before. What the hell are you talking about? Fucking idiot. What are you talking about? People overreacting to one loss. Come on, Philly gets a series in 6 is not 5. Yeah, it's one loss. And hey, Donnie, our buddy Embiid, probably gonna come back on Thursday,
Yeah,
regardless
yeah.
of his mental state. People were not happy after Joel Embiid tweeted out that he's being babied and he's sick of it. Obviously
You
not the
have
right way
to,
to
though.
handle it. Right, he is getting babied.
Yeah, I mean, the dude's got soft bones as it is. Did I miss something where, like, they said, "Oh, you'll be back in, 4 weeks," and it's been 6 weeks? I mean, this isn't a Kawhi Leonard situation where you get a little, bruise on your thigh and you sit out 82 games or whatever it is. He'll be back, and the Sixers completely afford to. They're not down 0-2. They weren't down 0-1 coming. It was like, oh my God, we better force him back out there. I don't know what's going to take place. You have time, and especially in the NFL, NBA playoffs in round one, you're going to get some time. You don't play for another, 2-3 days at this point before you head down to Miami. He'll be suited up in that game. He's going to play 35 minutes? Probably not, but he'll be ready to go in that game.
Whiteside always bullies Embiid. Oh yeah, Whiteside's bullied so many people in this matchup. Whiteside's played like 27 minutes in 2 games. He's got 6 points. Get the hell out of here with Whiteside. Whiteside's a hack. That's why he sits on the bench for most of the game.
Ilyasova beat him down last night. Yeah,
Get the hell out of here
Ilyasova
with that.
killed Whiteside. Yeah.
Whiteside always bullies him. Get the hell out of here, man, with that. Dude, come in here and talk basketball. Make sure you know what you're talking about. I had all these people. Oh, Whiteside's gonna kill Embiid. Dude, Whiteside can't even get on the damn floor. His coach hates him. That's why some guy goes, oh, Embiid's only going to play about 20 minutes. Well, it's going to be more than Whiteside's going to play. Whiteside only played 15 and 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
get the hell out of here. That's another common theme at today's show. Get the hell out of here. That's what it's all about, Donnie.
I agree. I
And oh yeah,
agree with that. No, but just yeah.
Oh yeah, he really was bullied by Miami too. Last 2 times he's played, Joel Embiid at 21 and 23. Yeah, real bullied. Get out of here with that. People are just looking for stuff to talk about now. Jesse's just total nonsense. But we know who Jesse Smith. His other name is Shy Picks. That's his other name. He's just too yellow to come in here with his real name, so he takes a fake name out. Jesse, is that not the most Jesse
Why
Smith?
with a Y too? There's no way his name's spelled with a Y like that.
And by the way, you didn't spell Jesse right, dude.
Yeah,
It's
come on.
Jesse.
Yeah,
Big man, you're such a hater on the Heat. Oh yeah, totally. I'm a hater on the Heat. They have a bunch of hacks on their team, dude. What do you want me to say? I don't think they're that good. I'm not a hater. I think the Philadelphia 76ers are better than the Heat. There's nothing about it. I don't think that James Johnson and Tyler Johnson and Josh Richardson and Kelly Olynyk should beat the Sixers. And yes, maybe I am hating. I don't think they should beat the Sixers. I think the Sixers need to beat the Heat. I don't understand that it's hating. So they're good players. They're great players. What do you want me to say? I mean, I don't think they're a good team. They needed a huge game from Dwayne Wade, and they barely won.
Yeah.
And where were all you people after the first game? Now everyone's in Miami.
Betting the Sixers in the second game is where they were.
All right. Now you're all Heat fans now. Everyone loves the Heat.
And what's up with the neck tattoo? Who's the one there, Jeff, with the neck tattoo? What does it say? Like mayhem on his neck?
Who?
I don't even know the players. Johnson, maybe? Not the who's the guy with the neck tattoo with like big letters across his neck?
I'm not sure. I have to look. But it's funny because Dwayne Wade, I mean, when did Dwayne Wade do anything over the last 5 years? It's like the first game.
Yeah, he had a nice game. Yeah.
Good for him though. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be a fun game on Thursday. Hopefully the Sixers can get it going and can get the job done here. How about the last second layup by Dragic?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like he was dead set on doing that too. He didn't have any interest in slowing down.
You heard some boos come up out of the crowd too, Jeff. So maybe some angry gamblers at that point in the arena.
Yes. Not happy. The fans are not happy. A lot of bettors weren't happy. I think a lot of those boos were bettors around the country not happy with the game going over the number. Very sad if you had the under.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons not going to take Philly nowhere. It's where, dude. WHERE, not WERE. I find it funny how you discredit this Miami team. I find it funny that you're in here.
Yeah, they're the 7th seed. Yeah. I mean, 7th seed. What do you want? They put up a fight, win a game, maybe 2. That's what it is, right?
Dwayne Wade's stealing money the last 5 years. Exactly. He's one game and he's fucking in a Julie serving. Forgot about that. But I'm not sure what this roll your tea comment is. What's up with that? Nadu better than Hart in the
Yeah,
seats.
I think you're saying you're better than Josh Hart, Jeff. That's pretty impressive.
Nice. I've always wanted to be better
Yeah,
than Josh.
exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
maybe at some point down this week we come up with our top 5 hated NBA players.
That should
But
be,
I will
yeah.
tell you
Top
this.
fives will start rolling out soon. Like I wanted to save those a little bit more for the summer when we don't have like games to go over, but we have a slew of them. And Jeff, it's a breaking news across the wire, which I don't know why we're surprised or even surprised at all at this point anymore. There will not be a New Jersey sports betting decision today. They issued three
I
opinions,
mean,
and the NCAA versus Murphy was not today. So we'll wait for the next
I mean this is
60,000 times that they
I
can
mean
release it.
it's starting to become just stupid anymore to talk about. I mean, every fucking time we're supposed to get a ruling, it's just delayed. I mean,
Like,
there's never
and
going to be.
and you can't alert anybody. Like, I'm sure the Supreme Court, Jeff, knows what cases are coming up for themselves that they already ruled on. You're telling me they can't say, all right, sports betting, May 14th, the ruling will be set that day. Imagine showing up to the courtroom, Jeff. Let's just say you had a misdemeanor. You got caught with a bag of weed or you made an illegal left turn, whatever it is. And you showed up repeatedly to court. And they're like, yeah, not today. You showed up the next day. Yeah, not today. Maybe April 15th. Then you show up April 15th. Not today. Can't you just have a docket that says today is the day? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know why, it keeps and that's what I was thinking. I saw yesterday someone tweeted out that it's going to be today, and I'm thinking, no, it's not. It's going to be, another month down the road, then that'll get canceled, another month down the road. Very irritating. Uh, Donnie, let's move on down to the other game in the NBA last night. The Warriors continued to dominate the San Antonio Spurs. Warriors really never were threatening this game. A big night for Durant, a big night for Clay Thompson, JaVale McGee, and Iguodala had nice nights.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you know, not getting great games of Draymond Green or really anyone else, but Warriors just dominating San Antonio. San Antonio can't make any shots. 4 for 28 from three. For anyone that doesn't know math, that's 14%. Just not good enough. San Antonio struggling, and Greg Popovich going after Kawhi Leonard subtweetish stuff in the press conference after.
Yeah, I mean, when you're watching I mean, I said it yesterday and the day before. When you're looking at this Spurs series, what was their last bit of hope? Maybe they can hang on. Let's get to the playoffs, and maybe our superstar wakes up out of nowhere and actually decides to play in the series, as opposed to holding like, the medical staff and the coaching staff and the front office accountable, saying, "I'll show you. You'll get bounced early." I think that's what they were holding off for, Jeff. And once they realized he's not coming back, Kawhi Leonard, might as well just throw in the towel. I mean, they'll be competitive at home. They're an NBA team. They're professionals. Their shots are going to eventually go down. I believe, Jeff, they were like 4 of like 20, something ridiculous, like 14% from three. Same thing with the Sixers, who only shot, I believe, 20%. You're not going to win games when you shoot that low. When you get home, you might make a couple, you might steal a game, but the Spurs are not in that position to take over Golden State, even without Steph Curry, unless Kawhi Leonard was in there. That was their last hurrah. He's not coming back lights out.
Yeah, no, they might even get swept here. Maybe win a game in AT&T Center. It is a nice place to play and a good place to play. Very supportive, but it's hard to think. Donnie, by the way, that's one thing I meant to tell you. When I was in San Antonio, they love the Spurs down there, man. Like love
Oh, they
them. Like
got. Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. They really love the Spurs. It's pretty interesting. I've never seen a town because here, obviously we have, different teams and, some people like hockey and some people like baseball, whatever. They love the Spurs down there. I mean, it's every single person. All the women know a ton about basketball. Here, if I ask my mother about, sports, she doesn't know anything. I mean, down there,
Mhm.
everyone loves the Spurs. Very,
Yeah.
very cool to see. Um, let's get in, Donnie, to NHL as well. Obviously, last night, playoffs are great because they're every night, right? You have
Yep.
games every night. Last night, Donnie, was um, teams trying to prevent going down 3-0, whether it was Colorado, whether it was the Devils, whether it was Toronto, whether it was, I mean, the only team that did get down 3-0 was Anaheim. Anaheim gets crushed 8-1. San Jose is dominating them in that series. I will say this, Donnie. I like Colorado. The only reason I like Colorado is for one reason. I think they have one of the best logos in sports. Colorado and San Jose
Yeah.
have the best logos. That avalanche,
Yeah.
the coloring, the way they have it,
Yeah.
love that
Yeah.
color. And San Jose as well. But the Devils get it going, Donnie, and Toronto. That was dog night last night.
No, you're right. Yeah, teams that are down 0-2, and no zigzag theory, obviously, because it's game 3 as opposed to being a game 2. But all the teams that needed victories came up big last night. You watch Boston annihilate Jeff Toronto in the first 2 games, switch scenery, nice 4-2 win by the Maple Leafs. Then you flip it over to the Devils, nice 5-2 win over Tampa Bay after getting slaughtered down in the Thunderdome, whatever the hell they call that down there in Tampa Bay. And then Nashville and Colorado. Nashville, best team in the NHL, goes on the road and takes a loss. And then San Jose, that's the only interesting one there as well. Game 3 on a team that maybe Anaheim favored to come into the series, absolutely slaughtered them to go up 3-0. Now, we've seen teams come back, a team or two come back from 0-3. It doesn't happen quite frequently, especially in the first round. You're down 0-3. You're just hoping for a miracle at this point. Maybe a couple players get injured on, San Jose, and you can come back into the series. But same as the NBA, you get down 0-3, it's a wrap.
Yeah, let's hope Vegas can close it out tonight. My boys, Vegas Golden Knights,
Yeah.
close it out, get a little rest, and face their next opponent. Let's move on, Donnie, to the next line of business here, MLB. MLB, we've kind of forgotten about. Usually, we'll talk about that right away, but there are playoffs going on. I need playoffs, and we get into that now by moving that down. Johan Santana, move that down. There we go. Donnie, the big story last night is obviously New York Mets, who um, look, I mean, they were up 6-1 in the 8th inning. And
Yeah.
you're thinking, okay, well, all right, another big time win for the Mets. What would that be? 13 wins now. You're 14 wins. You go into the Tuesday. You need that because again, I talked about it yesterday. It would have been nice to get that win. I mean, you get the win. You just kind of continue to get up games. Every game matters, to me. You want to make sure you win every game and you're good in every game. And that's a game you need to win last night, and you blow it. We gave all the credit to the Mets bullpen for a while, Donnie. I mean, they'd been playing
Yeah.
well. We looked at them and said, wow, that bullpen. I mean, DeGrom was absolutely fantastic for the most part. 7 in the third, 12 strikeouts. But then the bullpen comes in. Ramos, Blevins, Robles,
Oh,
Seth Lugo.
Familia. Yeah.
Yes, all of them come in and give up runs, and the Mets lose a tough one. This is the first tough loss. They'll have more of them. Now it's all about, Donnie, how will you keep it going? You can't let this spiral out of control now and lose 6 of 7. You got to get right back on the horse today. You got Wheeler on the mound. He's pitched well. What happened with the Mets last night?
Yeah, and hey, that's baseball, Jeff, especially in April. It's colder weather out there. Bullpen. I mean, yeah, look, the Mets you're going to lose like that throughout the summer. The same way when you bet games, Jeff, it doesn't even matter what sport, baseball, hockey, basketball, football, whatever it is. You're going to have games where you take meltdowns. You're also going to have games where you come back in that sort of instance. But a lot of that happened with 2 outs last night. And that can't. You're right, Jeff, because this wasn't like the Padres coming into the town, you let one slip away. When you're playing division foes, Jeff, games in April count the same, last I checked, as games in mid-September when you really needed to head down, clinch the division, and make a playoff run. That's a big loss for the Mets because you keep that momentum going and you keep Washington down. One of your favorite things to do in Major League Baseball, if you're a team, Jeff, is you want to run and hide. What's better? There's always been an argument like, oh, I'd rather be playing real competitive baseball at September the 3rd if we're only 1 game up when we get in the playoffs. No, you ask me if an owner, a baseball player, GM, manager, anybody, or fan, give me the 10-game lead in September as opposed to the 3-game lead. Like, we got to earn it to get into the playoffs at that point. That's one that slipped away. But again, it's still April. It's a long schedule. We'll see how they bounce back today. But you're right. When you waste an effort like DeGrom out there with a big lead and a lot of damage done late in the 8th inning with 2 outs, that one stings a little bit. But we'll see how they bounce back today and get back. Mets still have a nice little lead in the NL East. We'll see if they can extend it or at least get it back tonight.
The magic word, Dottie, late in the season in baseball is the sooner you hear magic number, the better. And that's the goal. But one other thing, Dottie, with the Mets, that fucking Mickey Callaway last night. Let me ask you a question. If you have a guy that had 20 plate appearances, I think it's around 20, has an average of 400 and 3 home runs against the opponent, aren't you putting that guy in and face that pitcher?
Yeah, there might have been you never know in that instance, Jeff, where maybe the player
No,
came
it
to him
doesn't
like after
matter.
batting
They give him
practice or
time
something
off
like that.
today.
Well, no, if the player comes to you and says, Skip, my rib is really hurting me. I took a tough swing and it's a cold night. You're not going to put him in there. We don't know the extenuating circumstances, but I'm pretty sure it probably came from Cespedes' side because you're right, Jeff. If we all played sports before, everybody's raking this pitcher who can't get it over the plate and only throws 60 miles an hour. You want your shot at that guy. So I think there might have been some extenuating circumstance of why Cespedes wasn't in the lineup.
Yeah, well, he should have been in there. If that was Callaway's decision, that's brutal. Because he should have been in there. He knows how to hit Jeremy Hellickson. He's been good against Hellickson in his career. He should have been in there. Teheran and Aaron Nola have a big game, Donnie. Teheran was very good last night. Finally, very good at
Yeah,
home for once
at
in his
home.
life. And Aaron Nola was good as well. I mean, 6 innings, only gives up 2 earned runs. But I mean, look, I mean, when you can't hit, you're not going to win a lot of games. And the Philadelphia Phillies, listen, only had 6 hits. I mean, only 4 for the Marlins, but it was a big 2-run home run, I believe. Mets were very good, or the Braves were very good last night. Tehran went 6 deep. Bullpen comes in. You can't let the bullpen come in for the Braves and shut you down. That can't happen. Phillies couldn't hit last night. What are you going to do, Donnie?
Yeah, is there anything more depressing, Jeff? When you watch a game, your team, or you have a wager in a game, you have your ace on the mound, Aaron Nola. You get the 1-run lead with a 2-out solo home run in the top of the first. Like, good vibes. Maybe we'll get to Tehran. We'll pick up a couple runs here, maybe tackle on later. There's nothing more demoralizing to a gambler or a team, Jeff, when you score early and then get shut out 8 straight innings and not even threaten all that much. I believe maybe in the 8th inning or the 7th inning, top of the 7th or top of the 8th, Phillies had 2 men on with 1 out and weren't able to push anybody across the plate. But a total of 10 hits in that game, 3 total runs. Both pitchers did what they had to do. Bats came up light, and especially in a ballpark, Jeff, hitter's ballpark with a little bit warmer temperatures. I think maybe the Phillies just can't beat the Braves this year.
Breaking news, Donnie. Twitter is down right now, unfortunately. How
For
are
what
any of us
reason?
going to survive? It just isn't
Yep,
working.
now you just have to watch the show now, I guess.
Yes. Also, Donnie, Aaron Altair has been horrible this year for the Phillies. My
Yeah.
God. Another 0-3 night. Aaron Altair hitting .77. Carlos Santana's not been good either. He's really struggled out of the gate. Not sure why he's hitting second. I'd put him more down towards the 5th or 6th rung. But hey, analytics knows best, Donnie.
Yeah,
Let's
I mean,
move
yeah,
on.
I give a lot of hitters a pass early on. I mean, Altair, you don't know. He's still a wild card. He showed some signs. Maybe you want to platoon him and get him in against the right pitching situation. Santana's going to hit, Jeff. He'll be in the high 280s, maybe hovering around 300. Because again, they still play, Jeff, in Citizens Bank Ballpark. There's going to be 90-degree days where it doesn't matter what you do in that ballpark, you're going to get base hits. So a lot of these hitters struggling early on. I give them a little bit of pass until the warmer weather comes.
Another great pitching matchup last night. Paxton Keuchel. And this
Yeah.
Astros team, Donnie, continues to struggle to get hits. I mean, they really had an issue last night scoring runs. I mean, just 3 hits and 1 run. Keuchel was great. Another great performance from Dallas Keuchel, but they just couldn't score runs. It was nothing that Keuchel did wrong. He was the only pitcher they had last night. Keuchel went the whole way, but Paxton was very good as well. He just gave up 1 run less. Mariner bullpen, Nick Vincent, Nicasio. Is that that's a Jumbo Diaz, not Edwin Diaz. That's right. Edwin Diaz was very good as well. The hard throwing save artist there. Big win for the Mariners, Donnie. They go to 9-5. They're getting closer to those Houston Astros early on here.
Yeah, no, I mean, looking at that game last night, I mean, I think Dallas Keuchel, Jeff, went full game, complete game, and ends up going down 2-1. So I don't know if you take that as like, I wish Houston was hitting better, or do you say, you know what, good to see Keuchel back, and hopefully he continues for the rest of the season, like the pitcher we know he can be. But just an interesting game overall to watch. I know late night, a lot of people watching playoff games didn't get to see that one, but a really good pitching matchup, some timely hitting in that one. Good win for the Mariners in that spot, and also, Jeff, for Paxton as well with a couple bounce backs. He needs to get going if Seattle wants to be a player. I mean, how much do we expect out of Seattle? Not a whole lot, but maybe they can battle for a wild card in there. But Paxton's going to be a big key to that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the top of that lineup for the Mariners. They have been very good. D. Gordon, one of the great young shortstops, so quick. Gets on base, 322 average. Look at Gene. I mean, Donnie, I've said this time and time again. Why do teams give up on Gene Segura? Gene Segura is a baller, Donnie. I don't know why they give up on him. He didn't play well last night, but he's hitting 305. Robbie Cano, 341. I mean, the top three of that lineup are just mashing the ball right now.
Yeah,
They
great
just
lineup.
need
Yep.
Cruz, Seager, those guys to pick it up. But yeah, nice win for the Mariners last night. Kapler eats ice cream and spits it out because he likes the flavor but not the calories. Yes, that is the kind of guy Gabe Kapler is. He's, yeah,
Live a little.
total,
Damn.
total weirdo for sure. Um, Donnie, a question that's been asked thousands of times. Maybe you should put like an
Yes.
ad on your fridge that says
Maybe I should just move
Monster.
it to the. Maybe I should just move it right here, Jeff. You know what I mean? Where they
Yeah,
can actually, or maybe have, you saw Mikey Miss on his simulcast, obviously pimping some juice drinks in the background. Maybe I should
yeah.
just line up like a couple monsters right here, and we could do the show with them, right?
Yes, and Donnie, the toughest thing in this business is not only the fact that we have to give our opinion every day, but um, getting on camera every day. That sucks. We gotta show how we look every day. Yeah, Mike had
Yeah.
to deal with that yesterday. His producer, they ought to deal with that yesterday. Donnie, nice shirt. I see you're stealing my ideas again. I had the SBR shirt the other day. Donnie taking my
Mhm.
ideas and running with
Yeah,
them. I like
follow
it.
Jeff. I'm sure you're going to want to follow us to the IFBC as well. So, hey, look, I'm a walking billboard today, Jeff. I'm just not making any money, I don't think, off these, but I am a billboard for service.
Like it. Like it. Like it. One other thing, Donnie, more postponed games yesterday. Not really sure
Yeah,
why we
Jesus.
continue to have games in April. Um, oh, I'm sorry. Kyle Honey said on my every move. I guess I don't know. Does D Gordon play shortstop? Since I'm such a baseball mind, wherever he plays, he's been very good at the plate. That was my main comment there. I don't know where the hell he plays. Does he play second base, Donnie? D Gordon?
Yeah, yeah, usually. I mean, he's actually played a couple positions when he was down with the Marlins, but I haven't watched
When he
enough
was
to.
with
I know he
and
doesn't play shortstop. Yeah,
when he was with the Marlins, he played second base. That's when he
yeah.
played with the Dodgers, he played second base too. I don't follow D Gordon's every move daily. I do know Tom Gordon's his dad though. Uh, Donnie, why do we keep playing games in April? Well, who cares? Why are we
I
doing
mean,
this?
it is. I mean, this year is a lot worse than other years, but you're right. It's just and if you asked or took a vote from people, I don't think they would care if it started, May 1st when it was a little bit nicer. Because again, let's talk about the fans. Forget about the players who I'm sure can't stand it. Because there's a reason, Jeff, right? Why they do spring training in Arizona and Florida and not in Maine at that time? Because it's meant to be played in nice weather. But let's talk about if you're a season ticket holder or your kid wanted tickets and the only time that they might be able to see the Mets come to town is, April 10th in the northern city. So you're going to get bundled up like it's midwinter in a football game and have the time of your life in the freezing cold and watch teams that don't want to be out there in the cold. It's almost like some of these entertainment industries, or should I say just professional teams, don't care about the fans. Yeah, go out and deal with it. We know you bought tickets. It's freezing cold, and we're going to try to get this game. And I always used to get a laugh out of Jeff. Remember the On Deck series, which I think they still have or rotate between cities, where the teams would come up like that last week of March and play a 3-game set, which is an exhibition game versus another team that they're going to charge full prices for. But you can't refund the money, Jeff, because if there's a rain out or a snow out or a bad weather, you have to refund the tickets because you can't play the game again. I always used to get a kick when the Phillies, Jeff, would have a pouring rain day and force the teams out there over 6.5 hours just to get in 5 innings to steal the fans' money at that point. Come on, have a heart, Major League Baseball. Wait a month till it gets better.
Agreed. Cincinnati Reds get a win finally. They beat the Brewers for the third win of the season. 10 runs, 14 hits. A big hit parade for the big red machine in Cincinnati. They go on the road and beat a very inconsistent Brewer team. Donnie, let's get
Yes.
in to some things tonight. We get into our NBA matchups tonight and head into game 2 of 3 different series here. Let's get into it. What do you got?
Jeff, Raptors and the Warriors. We'll see, or excuse me, Raptors and the Wizards, excuse me, getting caught up on the W. 705, 706. Line opened up at 7, Jeff at Pinnacle. 8 at Chris. Now hovering at 7.5. Bet online, Jeff, now showing a 6.5 in the favor of the Raptors. We saw the Raptors steal game 1. I believe it was in overtime after a couple. Was it an overtime game, the Raptors game, or was that the Bucks game?
No.
Or did they both go to overtime?
It was. No, I don't believe they went to overtime in the Raptor game. It was they won by 8.
Ah, gotcha. So it looks like 214, 214.5, still in that 200 range. I don't really, pay much attention to this series here until it moves a little bit further, more invested in the Sixers series at this point, Jeff. Game 2 in this one. Raptors take a 2-0 lead, or can the Wizards bounce back with John Wall?
Real quick, Donnie, just because you guys don't want to see baseball in April doesn't mean everyone else feels that same. Get the fuck out. Well, I mean, again, this is our show, and we're giving our opinion. And no, I don't think anyone would be mad if baseball didn't start till May. We're only protecting the fans here, Chris. Not because you want to bet on it, and that's why you want to see
players.
it.
Players would love it. You kidding me? Players would love to start May 1st.
We're protecting everyone involved here. I mean, so Chris, you'd be okay with, let's say you live in New York City and you decide, oh, I'm going to take my kid to the Bronx to watch the Yankees today. They don't give you any sort of notice. You get up there and they cancel the game because of weather. Weather's too bad in April. Again, it's just how it is. You shouldn't start it in April. There's a lot of rain. There's still snow going on. It's cold. It protects the fans. It protects the teams. Protects the coaches, the players. Again, we're just trying to be nice to the players. We don't think they should start in April because look at how many. Chris, so you're okay with the amount of canceled games there's been? That doesn't bother you? That there's 8 games canceled one day, and every day we have to deal with there being games canceled. It's just how it is. To me, I don't think they should have it in April. Wherever
baseball's meant to enjoy. Baseball's meant to enjoy. Throw on a t-shirt, pair of shorts, grab a couple beers, take your kid to the game, let them get some ice cream and walk around. I'm sure, if you have a kid that's under 10, they don't really enjoy going to a game, which technically is very slow moving, and you just want to have an experience there. And they're so cold, they want to go home in the first inning. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Baseball's not meant to be played that way. There's a reason why they play spring training in Florida, in Arizona. Otherwise, Jeff, what would they do? They would just have spring training in Philadelphia, and nobody would care, right?
Yeah, why not just give them an extra month? Spring training starts 2 or 3 weeks later. You play a couple extra. Do some sort of play a game at one of their minor league stadiums in the area, and go do like meet and greets with fans. I mean, do we really need an 8-month baseball season? I mean, really? So if we went down to 150 games instead of 162, we cut out all of April. And I'm not even saying maybe start April 25th or something. You really need to start April 4th or whatever it is. I mean, it's too early. I mean, it just is. You're affecting players. You're causing maybe injuries that you wouldn't have if you start in better conditions. But as far as the Toronto-Washington game, it's interesting because you never really know how to approach game 2s in the NBA. Particularly, you look at last night with, let's say the 2 different games you had. You had one game where the first game, it was a blowout, and the home team covered, and they covered the number, and everybody was happy. Game 2 was much different. Miami was able to come back, get the series tied again. So you ask yourself, can Washington do the same? I feel like they can. They, for large portions of that game, played very well. I mean, it was a close game. It was only late until Toronto kind of pulled away. But you have to envision, Donnie, Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan will play much better. Kyle Lowry and DeRozan didn't play well at all in the first game, and they still were able to win by 8 points because of a huge game from Ibaka. You'd have to think that Lowry and DeRozan will come out and play better here. I think in Toronto, it's just going to be very tough for Washington to win a game, let alone even hang in the game. I'd imagine both those players will play much better, and you'll see a win and cover here from the Toronto Raptors. Could it be different in Washington? Maybe, but the fact that they didn't play well and they still were able to win comfortably, it's a concern if you're a Washington Wizard fan.
Yeah, 707, 708, Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics here. Line opened up at 3, now sitting at 2, so some money coming in on the road team here, Milwaukee Bucks. That game did go to overtime, and one of the worst, I don't want to say, look, The reason why college basketball to me, there's a lot of differences. I mean, the NBA is the best players in the world, the best athletes. I'm not saying that, oh, well, the college kids play a better brand of basketball. The NBA is the professional league and for good reason. But the fact that, Jeff, you can call a timeout and move it up into the front court, why penalize the other team with a timeout? I never understood it. It came into play there. Boston ended up pulling that game out and getting a cover. So I guess if you back Boston in the last game, Jeff, you actually really like that late three-pointer going down with 0.5 seconds to go. That never even should have taken place. But now you're looking to game 2 here in Boston tonight. 2 seed, 7 seed. Who's going to get this one, Jeff?
Uh, it's a tough one. You kind of want the number to be up where the Wizards are, and you definitely be interested in taking the Bucks here. I do think the Bucks will win a game. I think the series will be a lot like probably the Heat Sixers will be. I think the Bucks are a good basketball team. I think they will even the series tonight. Antetokounmpo obviously was very good in the last game. Chris Middleton was huge, but no one else really stepped up. You need Eric Bledsoe to play like the guard you think he is, and you got him to be. Eric Bledsoe was not particularly good in the first game. Really, no one else was good. Jabari Parker didn't do anything. No one really, other than those three, were contributors, and they still, Donnie. That's what's interesting about the playoffs. You're finding guys that and finding teams that, barring other players, they didn't play well, but they're still finding ways to hang in games. I think the Bucks will have a better go of it with a little bit more balanced effort here in the second game. I think this series goes pretty deep. I like Boston. Obviously, that was a huge win for them over the weekend, and they had pretty. They were a lot more balanced, but still only won the game by 6. Donnie, game went to overtime. I think you'll see again tonight's common theme is going to be, will it be more balanced for the team than in the first game? And I need more balanced efforts out of Milwaukee and out of Washington. Question is, can we get it? I just don't think Boston will run away in this series. I think Milwaukee ties it up, and game 3 at the Bradley Center is going to be rocking.
Yeah, no, it should be. And yeah, they're not used to playoff basketball all that much there in Milwaukee. Giannis, see if he can put on his back. But we all thought coming into the playoffs, Jeff, probably one of the higher seeds that's right for the beating would have been the Boston Celtics. You even heard coming down the stretch, Jeff, teams in that 6, 7, 8 range trying to jockey to end up to get to play the Boston Celtics. So we'll see where they come back in that series, Jeff. One more game on the docket tonight. 10:30 p.m. start. The Pels and the Blazers. 2,400 tickets have been tracked in there. Jeff opened at 6, currently sits at 6 all the way across the board. What do we see out of this one with the Portland Trailblazers, Jeff? Can't go down 0-2, right, at home?
No, you definitely can't get out 0-2. But you look at the first matchup. I think a lot of people, kind of thought, the Pelicans are live in this one. They're live in this series. They probably will win. You look at the number in the series. I mean, it was around even. I mean, I think it was like 140 for Portland. Portland though didn't play well in the first game. They struggled. They struggled to score. They need to kind of get it going here. I mean, they didn't play bad defensively, and I think this game will be a pretty defensive series. But Portland, no, they can't go down 0-2. I'd imagine they bounce back as well. Didn't have they weren't terrible though. They hung in the game. They just couldn't find a way to pull it out. Anthony Davis is obviously a huge problem. They don't really have anyone that can handle him. I guess you could say Nurkic, but he didn't have any success really handling him at all. Drew Holiday was fantastic as well. How about Drew Holiday, Donnie? A big night for him. I'd imagine though this game is close. I think the series will be pretty close. I think it'll go 6 or 7. One of the better series. Portland though has to get the job done, but I'd probably take points whenever I can get them with New Orleans against against the Portland Trailblazers. Just looks like a close series.
No, it should be fun, Jeff. Never too early to look ahead at some of the other prices and price ranges out there, Jeff. This morning, looking there, the Sixers and the Heat, which play on the 19th, opened up at -2 in the favor of the Sixers, it looks like at this point. Or excuse me, -1, -1.5 in the favor of the Heat. Now switched over to the Sixers, maybe anticipation of getting Joel Embiid. So a little future line to look at in that spot, Jeff.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking at that one. I'm also looking at Donnie. I mean, why is Cleveland an 8-point favorite against Indiana? I mean, Cleveland is not that
LeBron.
good. Why? Right, but why are they continuously laying 8, 7, 9 points? I don't get it. They're 19-44 this year as a favorite. I mean, I don't even want to know what they are as a double-digit favorite. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but again, I mean, I'm not sure why they're. I mean, we do know they lost the first game, right? And they weren't even close in
Yeah.
covering. I mean, well, obviously they didn't cover because they lost. But again, I just don't see it with Cleveland. They're very 3-point reliant. They're very LeBron reliant. I'd probably take the 8 points every single time against Cleveland. Donnie, let's get into baseball today. What else do we have?
Yeah, a little Major League Baseball action on the card, Jeff. Full card here, and we want to take a look at some of these key matchups and games, Jeff. 975, 976. How about this one, Jeff? Boston heads out to the West Coast. David Price versus Otani on the mound. Everybody's All-American new hero at this point. Opened up at 156, now sits at 66 at Pinnacle. If we take a look at Chris, opens up at 140, now sits at minus 170. Can you stop Ohani at this? I like to call him, Jeff. Ohani at this point in the season. Looking good early. Boston hasn't seen him yet. And I always like to say, Jeff, second time around, you might be able to catch up, but he's kind of intimidating that first time around.
No, he definitely is, and you're right. I mean, they're at home here. The LA Angels are no spring chicken. They've been playing fantastic as well. Two great baseball teams that have played well
Mhm.
to start the season. Should be a fun series. Pretty good weather, I'd imagine, as well out there. Yeah, listen. I mean, again, I'd probably take the money here with the Angels. I don't really get this price. I don't know why it's so high. David Price has been very good, but one thing we've known about him over the last couple years is he's been inconsistent. He gets injured a lot. Never seems to kind of go how you think it's going to go with David Price. And Otani has been very good. At some point, he'll get blown up, but I'm not sure it'll be tonight. I think this is a great game between two good pitchers. It's a tough one to call, but it's hard to envision why the line's so high here. Might be baiting you. A lot of people are probably going to zero in on the Angels and say, "Oh my God, I'm getting plus 150 on the Angels with Otani. I got to get on that." Why is the line going up? You know, people are on the Angels here, Donnie.
Mhm.
This is kind of envisioning. I'm kind of envisioning, Donnie, that that Otani will get blown up here. It's a tough one. You want to
Mm.
take the nice plus money with Otani, but or with wait, wait, the Angels are the favorite. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. What am I
Otani's a
looking?
heavy favorite, and it's
Okay,
going
I got it.
higher. Yeah, the money's
I
going in the
could have
right
sworn.
spot. Go.
Okay, I could have sworn you said the Angels were the favorite. My fault. I'm not looking at the odds right now. I'm
No, the
looking at.
Angels are the favorite, big favorite.
Okay, okay, there we go. I was gonna say. I was thinking to myself, why the hell are the Red Sox a favorite at home or on
On
the
the
road
road.
here? Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but either way, so now that kind of breaks down. That breaks up what I was going to say here. But yeah, it's a high number. You got to figure at some point though. Donnie Otani's going to get touched up. He's not going to pitch this way the whole season. If any lineup's going to be able to do it, it is the Boston Red Sox. I know Mookie Betts though is questionable for this game. He may or not be in there. Bogart's out as well. But David Price has
And
been
Price
good.
got lit. Price got lit in his last game too, I believe.
But and that's the general thing. He usually will pitch well for a couple games and then he'll kind of fall off the tracks a bit. It was against the Yankees, the team he generally struggles against. But it doesn't really take away from either pick. I would take whoever's getting plus money in this game. I don't see the difference between the two teams really. They're both very good. They're both playing well. I'd probably just take the plus money, whoever's getting it.
Yeah, two good hitting lineups too, Jeff. Line sitting at 7.5. Looks like 8 at Chris at this point if you're looking at a total. Next up, Jeff, 977, 978. McCullers and the lawman, Mr. Miranda writes, going the lefty on the mound for the Mariners. 28% of the tickets coming in on Seattle in this one after the victory yesterday. Line opened up at minus 167 at Pinnacle. Now sitting at minus 178. Chris opens up at minus 170. Now at minus 175, or excuse me, 185. McCullers getting a lot of love in Houston. Some people expecting those bats to come alive here versus Miranda Wright on the mound versus the Mariners.
Miranda Wrights. When did you get that name,
Mm-hmm.
Donnie?
I don't know. Just made it up on the
Uh,
fly. You like it?
yeah, Miranda is making his first start here. We haven't seen him yet this year. He was hanging out in AAA Tacoma, but he makes
Mm.
his first start season. McCullers off a bad outing over his last one start. He walked a lot of hitters in Minnesota. Keep in mind though, it was pretty cold. I'd imagine it's. I don't know what the weather in Seattle is. I'm sure it's not much better though. You look at some of these big bats for Seattle do hit McCullers pretty well. Kyle Seager, Robbie Cano. Listen, the way the Astros are playing right now, I'm not in love with laying 180 with them. I'm not in love with laying 180 with McCullers. I would lean with the Mariners.
Jeff, last one on the board we'll take a look at before we get to an interesting off-topic note before we get out of here. Kluber, Odorizzi on the mound, 969, 970. It was brought to my attention, Jeff, sort of scratching my head when my odds board said the game was in Minnesota. It was 78 degrees. I'm thinking if there was some, maybe a nuclear reactor that melted down and was heating up the city at that point. But the game is actually in Puerto Rico. I believe somebody in the chat box also said it's raining in Puerto Rico. No surprise at that point when you're trying to finally put a game on. Opened up at 198 as a favorite, Jeff, sitting at 183 at Pinnacle. Minus 205. Chris opened up. Now that's dialed back to 185, over under 7.5. Interesting environment they're going to play in. Minnesota technically, I guess, would be the home team. Kluber at home, I know you don't want to go anywhere near betting against, but interesting scenario, Jeff. I think it throws them off a little bit being in Puerto Rico, maybe a little bit out of their element where you might be able to get some, plus money or some interesting angle in the dog here.
Yeah, I'm not too interested in the Twins against Kluber. They really struggle against him for the most part. I mean, none of these guys have good numbers. I mean, basically other than Joe Mauer, who seems to hit everyone well because he's seen everyone 8,000 times. No one hits Kluber particularly well. I'd imagine, players will be happy to get out to a nice area. But here's the problem, Donnie. Maybe some colds are popping up. Maybe that's happening. Cold weather to warm weather. Maybe the travel throws people off. I don't know. It is an interesting cap for that standpoint. But I don't really want to jump in front of Kluber, especially against the Twins, a team that he has a lot of success against. I think they'll find a way to get the job done here. But again, with Cleveland, the big problem is laying that big money with them on a regular basis. Maybe a first 5 minus a half. You're kind of isolating Kluber against Odorizzi. But it's a tough one. Not a handicapping interest for me, just from the Kluber aspect and from the fact of that it's in Puerto Rico. And I don't always trust the Indians offensively. I need to see a good 2-3 week period with them.
All right, Jeff. Just the one you're going to need to comment on here, Jeff. Risk Opong had an accident last night. Needs $1,000 deductible to come up with. Can somebody help him with a game to bet on? I appreciate it. Yep, absolutely. Double and triple down on the highest wage on the board. Take that 1,000, Jeff, and try to multiply it in there. Just bet CC Sabathia at minus 290 today. Goodness gracious.
Okay, I have another comment to get to here. Big man, not hating, but you should have known Miami wasn't going to play like they did in Game 1. Miami has a championship coach and veteran players to beat the Sixers. Okay, let me ask you a question. Other than Dwayne Wade, what veteran players do they have?
Who's had a lot of success in the playoffs.
Yes, exactly. And a championship coach. No, they had LeBron James, and they won. Get the hell out of here with Spoelstra. Spoelstra's a fucking babysitter, man. I mean, if you people are going to come in here and talk about the Miami Heat, make sure you bring fucking facts. You're not bringing facts. You're bringing opinions on the Miami Heat without LeBron James. They don't have LeBron James anymore. And I'm going to tell you right now, they will never win another championship with Eric Spoelstra at the fucking helm. He's a babysitter, for Christ's sakes. Last night he coached well. What do you want me to give him? Great. Good for him. Goran Dragic. When did Goran Dragic play in the playoffs? Once? What? Okay, 2 people. Give me another player. Smart guy, genius. Give me another player. What are you talking about? Udonis Haslem? Udonis Haslem hasn't seen the court in fucking years. Come on, give me more. I'm waiting. Give me more people that play on a regular basis that have been in the playoffs. There aren't any. Spoelstra coach circles around Brown. What the hell are you talking about? Well, you're an idiot, so I'm not going to argue with you. You're a fucking know-it-all. A fact that Brown coached around him in Game 1. What do you want me to say?
I like the guy. I said I got to give credit to the Heat. Like the Heat played the Rick Pitino playbook at Louisville and the Bob Huggins playbook to a T that says, look, we're not as good as you guys are. The one shot we have is we're going to foul every time up court, and the refs aren't going to call every foul. It's a great game plan by him, Jeff. I do have to give him credit for that, but that'll snap back in the series once they start blasting that team with fouls.
I'm not going to settle down because none of you people bring any facts. You just talk about they have playoff experience. What playoff experience do they have? They have 1 or 2 guys that have been to the playoffs. I mean, I don't get it. He coached circles around Brown. So Brown didn't coach circles on him in the first game? Get the hell out of here with Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra won because LeBron.
Jesse Smith says Wade has more experience than the whole Philly team. Well, hell, why don't we just go back, reach back, and bring Dr. J out there for the Sixers? He's got some experience in playoffs.
Right. Dragic played with Nash, and they went to the conference final. What was that, 10 years ago? Who cares? What does that mean? Okay, so maybe I can bring up the fact that Amir Johnson played with the Celtics, and they went to the playoffs one time. Who cares? So all the Warriors, they had a ton of.
How about Brett Brown was on the Brett Brown was on the Spurs bench for like 10 years, and they had all those wins. We get credit for that. Yeah. He's a champion. Coach.
Right. He's got a ton of playoff experience. Good point, Donnie. Great point. I mean, Darius Saric played a ton of big games in Europe. He's got plenty of experience. Get out of here. Yeah, exactly. Tech Me TV. Eric Spoelstra was a goddamn babysitter, just like every other. Just like certain certain other coaches are when they have a star player. It's. But I got to wrap it up for some reason. I'm in the middle.
Yeah, real quick, Jeff. Yeah, real quick. Off topic. If we slide that down there, Jeff. I just wanted to get your take on this. A Delaware man arrested at McDonald's for demanding vegetable oil, like where they cook the fries in, for his clippers to give himself a haircut. He was not obliged by them, decided to brandish a weapon, and was arrested down the street. Your thoughts on that? When you're trying to get a good haircut, Jeff, and your clippers are locking up and you need that oil to go on and you're out of it, why not hit the McDonald's, right?
Well, he's going to do 2 to 5 now. Good for him. I mean, I guess that haircut was more important, right? Hey, by the way, they have a lottery pick, dude. They're the 10th team. Uh-oh. Wrong again, Ace Farmer. They do have a lottery pick, pal. Get your facts straight. Wrong again. But yes, this guy, I guess that haircut was important. He needed that haircut. Now you're headed to the Slammer, pal. What happened to the Philly Starbucks? I don't know. Read the article. I have no idea, Giorgio. That was made clear to me. I have to read the article. I haven't had time to read it. I will, though. But Donnie, great story. I don't know where did you find that, by the way? I didn't even.
That was just. It was just like 6 ABC or something like that. It was a great story. Look, Google it there. It's pretty funny.
I will. I'll check that out. Donnie, we'll be back. Oh, it's in Delaware. Wow, I didn't even.
Yeah,
see that.
That's what I said. Yes.
Down the street, I didn't even know. Yeah, now you can give haircuts in the pen, Donnie. They do have a. By the way, you know why people become barbers in prison, Donnie?
No.
Because the barber. No, but the barber shop is the only air conditioning place in the building. So people will get their barber license to get into the air conditioning. It's got to be air conditioning in there.
Pretty impressive.
Everyone have a great night. We hope you enjoyed the show. It's always fun arguing and having fun with the people early in the morning. It gets my juices flowing for the rest of the day. Everyone have a great day. We hope you enjoy it. And we'll be back tomorrow with the roundtable. Donnie, me, Drew Martin, Ian, Cameron. Thanks to SPR for producing. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Peace.